So Doug has recently been bestowed a new nickname. He was sitting on the back porch yesterday, just minding his own business, enjoying his life, enjoying the day, and I look out the window at him, he looks back at me, and I notice like there's like a lot of just crap on his head. And I look closer and I'm like, what is that? And he has like this crown of flies, like we're talking 10 plus flies, just adorning his nog in a tiara-like fashion. So now we've started calling him Lord of the Flies, and I fear that his newfound nobility is not really cause for celebration, and it's more of an indication that that guy needs a bath. And so that's the first task of the day. And unfortunately for Doug, if there's something that he hates more than thunder, it's a bath. But don't worry, we're gonna butter him up first by giving him something he loves, which is breakfast. We've been feeding Doug and Mavis Spot and Tango's Unkibble for about 3 months now, and they absolutely love it. Not only are they stoked at mealtime, but we've noticed a significant improvement in Mavis's allergies and itching, and Doug seems way more youthful and energetic and much less like an old guy. Unkibble is made with 100% whole, fresh, human-grade ingredients that you can pronounce listed right on the front of the bag. Every recipe is developed with veterinary nutritionists and offers complete and balanced nutrition. And because every dog is different, Unkibble builds a personalized feeding plan and provides a custom scoop based on your dog's age, breed, weight, and activity level. It's also 40% more affordable than other fresh frozen alternatives, and it's shelf stable, which is way more convenient to store and feed. So if you're looking to upgrade your dog's food, go ahead and take this as your sign to give Unkibble a try, and save 60% off your order with code Beatrice60. And there's really no risk, because if your pup doesn't love it, you get your money back. Now let's go and draw a bath for Lord of the Flies. Not so bad. Hold on, Dougie. I'm drying you. I'm drying you, guy. I need a bath now. Okay. Your butt cheeks. Okay. Dougie, come here. Come here, buddy. Put on your collar again. Oh, boy. How about a turkey strip, Doug? Want a turkey strip? Oh my goodness, and my bath needs a bath, and then I need one. Oh, hello. So this video has transformed from a regular vlog to a Tea with B episode really quickly on the fact that I have effed my stuff up. My lower back is wrecked right now. And it hurts to move around, let alone just sit here. But it won't stop me from spilling the tea, no matter how lukewarm the tea is. So yesterday, I gave Douglas a bath, and that is where I believe that I have messed my back up, because I hoisted that 60-pound dog into the tub. Ergonomics did not enter the chat, okay? And I can lift 60 pounds no problem, but there is a big difference between like a static 60 and a wiggly 60, which Doug is definitely the wiggly 60, although I felt that he didn't wiggle as much as he typically does. But that's the only thing that I could think of that potentially messed me up. Other than the fact that after I was done giving Douglas his bath, we did end up going to see the new Christopher Nolan movie, Odyssey, in 70mm IMAX, which I've never been to an IMAX theater before, and it was a lot different than the typical luxury loungers that I was used to, and the theater was absolutely packed. It was like stadium seating, and it was very much akimbo to an airplane situation where you're just like packed in there like sardines. There was only like this much of aisle room. I was like, I'm not drinking my Coke Zero that I bought at the theater because I am not about to go up and push through all these people to get to the bathroom. Which, side note, this theater situation is very good exposure therapy to my like anxiety. If you guys don't know, like I'm pretty anxious to like get in an airplane, not because I'm afraid of it crashing or anything, but more because I am concerned about being sardined with a bunch of people and then having a panic attack in the airplane with a bunch of people and judgment maybe? I don't know. But I've been looking for ways to kind of like expose myself to scenarios like this, but it's kind of hard because I can't just buy airplane tickets all the time and go, because it's kind of like once you're in there, you're in there. Like there's just like you either do it or you don't, you know? So I was looking for like ways to bridge the gap between like getting on an actual plane and still like facing my fears of why I'm afraid to get on a plane. Anyways, that is a good setting for that because it is just packed to the brim with people. There's very little ways to get out. And you're stuck there for an extended period of time. The Odyssey was nearly 3 hours long. That movie, by the way, was awesome. It kept my interest the entire time. I really loved the Cersei scene. I really like how they did that. It was a little bit of body horror-y, but that and the Cyclops, and I like the fact that they used a lot of practical effects. Like, they basically made a big Cyclops puppet, and I thought that was really cool. But I don't know, it's just a really unique experience. I think this is the first movie ever that was shot completely in IMAX, which is a special type of camera. And I also believe there is only like 70 IMAX theaters in the whole United States, so it's really cool that there was one an hour away from us and we got to experience this at all. But those seats, back to my back issue, I think like the Doug thing exacerbated it, but then also because those seats were so cramped together and the theater was so full, I was very much like this, like trying not to like bother the person next to me, like very much balled up in the same position for 3 hours. So that probably did not help my back situation, but basically on the car ride home it just like started hurting, and by the time we got home I was in a lot of pain. And I was like, oh shit, this is not a good thing. I did buy this back brace that came in the mail this morning from Amazon. I don't know how they do it so quickly. I've been trying not to use Amazon as much, but like in situations like this when you're like 8 p.m. and it gets delivered by like 4 a.m. the next day, like that's awesome. But if you're wondering why I'm not wearing this thing, it's because I put it on this morning and there's a difference between like how stuff fits when you're fat, like when you're standing versus sitting. If you know, you know, but jeans, am I right? Those shits are annoying. But this, very much same concept. I put it on, it felt good standing, and I was like, oh my gosh, this helps a lot. And then I sat down and it was just like so much pressure on my organs. I kind of freaked out and I started like ripping at it. I started like ripping it off in the car as I was driving to, you might be wondering where we are right now. We're sitting outside of Walmart because I need to get a couple of groceries to have stuff to throw together, basically, so I don't participate in the DoorDash. So that's the plan. Just get a couple of easy groceries to throw together and ice my back from now until it doesn't hurt. I'm not really sure if you're supposed to use heat or ice, but I'm definitely going to use ice because it's already 90 degrees out and it's only 9 a.m. It's been getting up to like 110 and my garden is obliterated. You know how like I was talking a big game last time and I was like, my garden's thriving and I'm not worrying about the weeds or nothing. And I think that's helping it. Well, I jinxed it because the sun has just been burning everything to a crisp and there's nothing I can really do about it. And speaking of the heat, I am already sweating buckets. So let's get in there, get this over with, and move on with our lives. So the worst possible thing that could have happened in the grocery store did, and I sneezed after just getting a few ingredients. Butter, shredded rotisserie chicken, and a couple of red bell peppers. And you may be wondering why sneezing was a catastrophe. Well, I can't just sneeze like a normal person and let it out. I have to, for whatever reason, do that whole like thing where you like do not let it out. And that resulted in every single muscle in my body tensing up. And I thought I was stuck in the Walmart because my back spasmed and I was just kind of hunched over the buggy and I was like, I guess I live here now. When I left the house this morning, Steven was already in a meeting. I was like, do I just interrupt his meeting and call him? Do I call my mom? Do I call an ambulance? The police? How do I get out of here? But I was able to like just hobble out of there and the muscle contractions stopped. So it was a little bit eventful, but I didn't get as many groceries as I would have wanted, but it's enough to make a thing. And I do have like some of those like chicken hot pocket things in the freezer downstairs, so we're good for dinner, good for a couple days at least, but I wanted to get some kind of like lunch thing. Let me just get the other ingredients, hold on. Okay, I believe I'm ready now. Basically, the idea is just to make kind of a pseudo chicken salad situation that I can then eat on a bell pepper cheek. Normally I would eat this kind of thing on a romaine lettuce leaf, kind of a lettuce wrap scenario, but there seems to be like a kerfluffle with lettuce and some other things where people are getting really sick eating it, so I'm gonna steer clear for a while. We just got this Nancy's probiotic cottage cheese. I do really like the Good Culture cottage cheese, but they haven't had it lately, and I don't know why, but it makes me very sad. But anyway, this is simple, this is straightforward. It's just some chicken that I'm gonna measure out, and then we're gonna add some cottage cheese and some everything bagel seasoning. Give that a good mix, and then you just slather it on your bell pepper cheek, and voila, the fastest meal in the West. I'll admit it's not the most exciting thing I've ever made, but it is probably the quickest, and it tastes pretty good, and super high in protein and will keep me full. Now what sucks about this whole back situation, other than the fact that it hurts and it's hard to move, is that it's definitely gonna set me back in the workout department. So that is annoying in and of itself. The silver lining though, I will say, it's that whole you don't know what you got until it's gone kind of thing, where, you know, you realize how much you take for granted being able to like get up without pain, sit down without pain, walk around the grocery store. So it is kind of motivating me to want to take better care of my body, you know, like make my joints bulletproof, you know, build that muscle around them, build up my core strength, use proper ergonomics when lifting a squirming dog, just to like be more careful in general and like take better care of my body, because, you know, I'm 34 years old, which isn't terribly old, but it is old enough to where things ain't the way they used to be, you know? But I've always kind of had shitty joints, like just constantly twisting an ankle, pulling a muscle, you know, those kinds of things. So I don't know, I think I just need to be like way more careful and like follow a protocol where I'm building up muscles that are supportive and also working on my posture. That's a big thing. Girl, you know how I have a neck hump? Like that fat pad on the back of my spine, like right here. I've noticed as I've lost like a little bit more weight, I also have like a fat pad on the base of my spine, like tailbone area as well. It almost looks like a stegosaurus plate because it's just like very much like this fat pad on my spine. It goes out and then in. I don't know. It sticks out farther than my butt cheeks though. And this isn't me like hating on my body or anything. It's not me being like pointing out and making fun of the fat. It's looking at it from a more interesting perspective, like a curiosity almost, where it's like, okay, this is kind of an unusual area to gain fat. Like what's the fat trying to say? You know, it's pointing at a problem, because when your body accumulates fat in those places, unless you have Cushing's syndrome, which I do not have, the fat is there to pad and protect. So it's interesting that the body would be like, okay, hey, your posture, not great. So I'm gonna help you by building up this fat pad here and here, because you are not doing your spine a whole lot of good. I don't know, we look at fat all the time as this like aesthetically undesirable thing based on pop culture or whatever, but like when you look at it through the lens of like your body trying to help itself, you know, store extra nutrients, pad areas that need extra protection, subcutaneous fat, a lot of like the undesirable like belly fat, it's like storing things that would otherwise get stored around the organs. Like it's better that you have subcutaneous fat rather than visceral fat. It's like, it's really interesting from like the biological standpoint. And I also watched a documentary the other day on how fat can fight cancer, specifically brown fat, because it's energetically expensive and could like suck nutrients away from a tumor, that plus like not having like any sugar or anything that like feeds tumors. I don't know. Very interesting video. I got off on like a really heavy tangent. I'm trying to look at the silver lining of this, and I think the back pain is just like giving me motivation to kind of take care of my health a little bit better, because I often struggle with my why, you know, like why it is that I would want to lose weight. And this is like a deeply personal thing, and I have a lot of like existential dread and fear of getting older, fear of the future, that kind of thing. And so the idea of increasing my longevity, let's say, is complicated. It's a complicated topic where I often you know, I'm like, why would I want to extend that? Why would I want to be 90 years old and not be able to do anything? But then there's things like this, where it's like, if I take care of my body, I can enjoy the moment now. I can live a better life now, in the present. And then there's that incentive that it's likely that if I do take care of my body and my health now, I will be able to feel better longer. There are people in their 70s and 80s still lifting weights and not having any trouble at all. But then there's that complicated thing that crops in where it's like, okay, well, if the people that I love around me also aren't taking care of their health, like, why would I want to outlive them? You know what I mean? Like, it's a whole ass thing, really. It's very complicated, and I think that that is like, it's not the actual showing up and doing the diet and doing the exercise things. It's like all the existential stuff that ends up bothering me and getting in my way, and I just think too much. And I've been waving around this freaking bell pepper for, I don't know, like 20 minutes now talking about this, so I'm just gonna eat it and go ice my back and call it a day. And hopefully with a little bit of rest and relaxation, we will be back at 100% in no time and be able to do all of the things again. Like walk around the grocery store without sneezing and nearly having a catastrophe. Anyways, I just want to thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!